Aloha, everybody. How are you all doing? Happy post 12/12. OMG. So I wanted to come in. I've been in this space with you all deep within the 12/12. I think for most of us, the codes kind of start to filter in through the layers weeks before the actual linear date, but I think that the date helps to serve us to kind of anchor in a focal point for the portal. So I hope you all had a wonderful 12/12. I think it's been extremely expansive, so deep, and I have quite a few notes to share. So I wanted to come on and just offer some support and just share my own observations, my own experiences, also what I received in the energetics of the 12/12, which really correlates to the overall theme of December in itself for the 12, or that Holy Trinity 12, breaking down into three, the prime number of three. So I wanted to offer some 12/12 integration support. So we have to start to kind of take into our awareness a pattern of beginning to embody the understanding that when we have massive influxes of light in our experience, in our consciousness, for ourselves and the collectives at large, what also is going to happen is that kind of polarized effect of a lot of light coming in. We're in bliss. We feel new earth. We're getting so much revelation, amazing insight, healing. I mean, just so much. But on the flip side of that, in this process, there can also be kind of a regurgitation of density or waves of grief as we start to see in a contrast, which can be very visceral, all that is not that divine light. So it's like as we're accessing higher and higher states of pure divine love and magic and entering into the realms of just pure creation, really feeling that at oneness with our I am presence, there's still going to be this dredging up of anything that is not in sync with that. So I felt that very tangibly with this 12/12 portal. For me personally, the energetics of the 12/12 were coming in at the end of November and into the beginning of December, and continuing to escalate in more beauty with Divine Mother Mary, Divine Mother, the Trinity, the Holy Christ Child, rebirthing ourselves to the point of having a lot of a labor of sorts, an energetic back labor as I rebirth myself into a whole new light, embodiment of higher self in the body, and having these amazing experiences, which in one way were peak experiences, but in another way, not what one would expect because it's so subtle. So what I mean by that is I'm having these experiences and they're very subtle, very gentle, where I'm like, wow, I'm almost like feeling like I'm new in this body. And when I look at my hands, I'm like taking them in, like it's the first time I've ever seen my hands, my fingerprints, the way I'm looking at the people in my life and looking out through my eyes at the world around me. It's a very subtle realization of, oh my gosh, like this is my soul seeing through the physical avatar of the body. I mean, how cool is this? And they're kind of transient, these moments, they come and they go, and we're working towards gradually embodying our higher self soul more and more. Another code that came in through December, many of you have maybe seen some of my images, was these crystalline temples and beautiful like churches and palaces. And I was being shown, constructing them on the inside, building the inner sanctum. And what came through last night, because these things just kind of filter in pieces as we go, we keep getting more and more information to absorb as we go, as we expand, was we're building a seat within to house the divine. And the verbiage I actually heard was a house for the Lord, which we are, the Lord and the Lady, which we are, the divine spark in our own incarnation. So it's been incredible. And there's definitely a lot more to come. But what happened to me actually in the evening of the 12/12 was the whole day was very blissful, ethereal, amazing. I was receiving so much information, stuff that was really mind-boggling to me, as far as just our divine grace, our potential, what the divine holds for us, which is ours, our divine inheritance, whole new levels of embodiment of the wonder and the magic. It's been all about the magic, embracing our magic, childlike wonder, curiosity, all these incredible concepts. And then what came in on the night of the 12/12, kind of early evening for me, was these pangs of deep grief, you know, and I was looking at them and just sitting with them. And my ego, human ego, of course, was disappointed, like, oh man, I'm really feeling this shit, you know, on the 12-12. But it's like, yeah, that's part of the ascension and descension of matter and of consciousness. So as these huge light influxes sweep through us, well, that's the whole point is, you know, this is a purification. Patricia Cota Robles is sharing that we are in the last week right now, this week, of 40 days of purification between the 11/11 and the winter solstice. Now, for me personally, I felt like the last few years, really my whole life, but the last few years have been a purification. And all of this with COVID and, you know, the lockdown kind of stuff has been to help us go inside and find who we are in a very expedited way. So it's like, you know, maybe dozens, thousands of lives crammed into 1 year of us revisiting and clearing. So this isn't a new process, but it's definitely not something that I would have wanted, you know, to experience on the 12-12. So just to share some themes, we may have grief right now as we are witnessing what is incongruent with the highest, most beautiful and divine light, which we know to be our truth. What I mean by this in my own personal experience is that we may really start to tangibly feel the bifurcation and feel grief that people we love, maybe even blood family members in this incarnation, friends, they're not on the same trajectory. We have a rift, you know, we're not seeing eye to eye. And it's really a deep letting go. And it can be very painful because, of course, we want all of our loved ones, all of humanity, you know, to come with us. And there's this moment where we have to honor our grief and also honor where the other is, and that this is an individual journey. Everyone has their soul path and what is aligned for them. And a lot of us can be on different timelines, and that's okay. It's all part of the divine perfection of this tapestry that we're all weaving and commingling. And even now we are seeing some separation. So what I wanted to share here is that the 12-12 opens us up to just the most pure divine creation. And then also on the other side of that can draw up the density within us for us to witness and dissolve in love. This may be forgiveness for ourselves, for others, circumstances, events. This is a huge moment of offering complete and utter divine love and gratitude for all beings, even those who are in the dark angel roles in the role player game, because all of this is facilitating awakening on a mass scale for the entire planet in different stages as everyone is ready. So this is part of the white flame of purification. You can see there are so many initiations being thrown at us left and right, but we wouldn't be presented with all these invitations if we weren't ready for it. And we came here for this. It's so important to hold ourselves in love and tenderness and compassion as we would with a newborn infant, and to see all that is arising for us. There can be quite a ping pong of emotion going on here as we feel very high highs, we may feel lows, and just starting to understand that this is the pattern of light influxes. So we can kind of begin to get used to this, because with time, we'll start to be able to see more easily with our divine mind and our unity and our clear focus of being in alignment with our I am presence, a much easier understanding of what's going on between different levels of our consciousness, different facets of our consciousness, and we don't spiral so much emotionally in the process. For those of you who are maybe going through a lot emotionally, or have friends that are new to the awakening journey, or maybe even family that are open to it, I really recommend my emotional mastery series, Entering New Earth. So part 1 and part 2, working through our emotions and understanding them to be information and connecting us with our divine I am presence, our alignment, our higher self, to be able to witness emotions as energy in motion and information, so that we don't over-identify with them and then kind of let them loop, and then we're not really moving on. You know, we're still stuck. We're not doing the work to literally work it up and out and through. So I wanted to share, this can feel very ping-pongy energetically, emotionally, as we go through the rest of the year, especially leading up to the winter solstice. This is a really big gateway for us to continue to clear. And the white flame is beautiful to work with for the purification process. Mother Mary is here. I just see her with this beautiful cloak holding all of us in her blanket of divine grace, holding us through this process because it is very tender. And the gist of it, if anything, is just to start to understand that this is a process of surfing the energy as it comes through us. So it's going to either be our own stuff, or it's going to be collective stuff, or it's going to be witnessing others in their stuff, and just keep coming back to center, do what we got to do to clear, feel whatever we need to feel. We got to tune into everything that arises and see, does this need some attention and some nurturing? You know, whatever it is it a hollow echo, or is it an echo that needs some TLC, right? The reason being is that if we can begin to understand the ascension and descension of matter, of light, in regards to consciousness, it makes it easier for us to spring back. And not that that's the goal, but the idea is to witness, love, dissolve, move forward, and then you're going to get presented with another one. And it's just so important to understand that at this point in the journey, we are doing the process of unraveling millions, potentially billions of years of error programming that's encoded within our cells. As we keep going and as we start to understand that this is a process, we hold our stability with daily practices, meditation, mantra, going for walks out in nature and just laying on Gaia and merging with her. There's so many different practices that we can do. It's just very important that we're consistent in these practices, picking at least one thing a day to help us feel aligned with our internal guidance, our GPS, in order to strengthen that bond, which is the embodiment of us with our holy I Am presence. Because as we keep going through, things will get easier, meaning that something that may have taken us years to work through because it was so deeply, just completely entrenched in us at a cellular level, it could take a few minutes. It could take a week, a few hours. It starts to get a lot easier because we're embodying more light within us. Our light quotient is increasing, and it's easier for us to see. That being said, even people who are super experienced on the path are going to have moments of a dissension of consciousness where we go unconscious, where we go small, where our heart closes and we can't see. And this is where we support one another in seeing and mirroring. You reach out for that support, for that help. And that's why sacred community is so important. And I'm involved in a lot of different spiritual communities to support ones that are just for women, sisterhood, sacred circle kind of things, and then evolving consciousness together with Lisa Transcendence Brown, because the ego and the higher self are very complex, multi-layered, multi-dimensional concepts. So we're in for one heck of a wild ride. That being said, it's so magical and so incredible. So lots to take in with all of this. So thank you. And the next thing I'm very excited to share, in addition to all of this, is the dodecahedron. And I'm going to throw an image up here of the dodecahedron. This is a shape that started coming to me about a few days into December, and I've been unpacking it gradually over time. And there are a lot of beautiful codes with the dodecahedron in sacred geometry. It is one of the Platonic solids. And I just want to read to you and share some different notes that I've received. And then I also did some more digging and research to kind of look up more esoteric meanings also. So the dodecahedron has 12 sides. It's the God particle. These are the 12 code templates. The Trinity, 12D or 12th dimensional, plasma, God consciousness. These are the templates with which to encode our cells, DNA, and our realities into higher realms. These are the miracle realms. This is all within our DNA. I also wanted to share a little bit more about the dodecahedron classically in esoteric circles and yogic circles and like Rosicrucian orders or more alchemical traditions. The dodecahedron is said to represent the universe, the infinite number of straight lines from one corner across the figure that return to the original point without crossing over any other corner. And that's what you can do when you're actually like unfolding. If you looked at it like origami and you were trying to trace the lines across itself, it can infinitely go all over without re-intersecting across itself. So what this is showing us is a higher knowledge the unknown, the mysterious, really working with the plasma realms where infinite potential. This is God level consciousness. This is extremely high frequency, high level consciousness. And therefore you can see how something like this of the 1212 and the 12 codes, the dodecahedron, again, more 12, can completely scoop up so much for us to see and to review, to forgive, to surrender, to let go, to dissolve all these attachments. Like, oh, I wish I had a bond with that person. Why can't we get along? I wish this, I wish that, I wish they could see. We have to let all of those things peel back one by one. So please, please be very tender with yourself in this process and with others. More codes of the dodecahedron, pure life force, okay? All of the elements are contained within it because each of the platonic solids shows the different elements that make up all the matter, all of creation, one by one. So if you think, oh my gosh, so all 4 of the elements are in the dodecahedron. So that's like the 5th element, ether, the akash, the dark matter. That brings in divine mother again. It's the fabric of space time for us to work with as divine creators. So of course, if we're being given the gifts of the dodecahedron and all of these incredible sources through the 1212, of course, we're going to be initiated kind of a hazing, if you will, right? Another purification level in order to responsibly handle these tools, because this is taking us into our galactic citizenship. And I have more to share on that too. So all the elements are contained within the ether or the akash. So this is prima materia. This is the crystalline plasma molecule. So this is our opportunity to continue to detach from ego, connect to our higher truths, ascension, expression, divine creation of life, right use of life force. The highest forms of consciousness, the raise the frequency of self and the environment. This is showing our capacity to completely impact the environment around us with our own beingness. So this is something we've always known was possible, extremely beautiful for those of us who really like grid work and gate work, and those are our callings, is to know you come into your pure Christed beingness and you impact the space. Your beingness and your open heart flooding with light and love and peace and just divine innocence all around is restructuring the space all around you and thus positively impacting everyone in the vicinity, maybe for miles out at a time. And it's just incredible. So I hope this just gives you so much to chew on. And we're going to actually do a little activation now to work through and to just be in this. I want to share something that came to me actually on the night of the 12/12 going into yesterday, the 12/13. So the codes of the distortion that are on the backside of this 12/12, meaning what I've been speaking of, which is, you know, these higher lights of God coming into us. Well, of course, they're going to shine a spotlight on anything that is not that so that we can see it and release it with love and give thanks for the teachings and say, okay, we're done. Thank you so much. Maybe do a little ho'oponopono, right? In this process, I was working through some serious grief with some family members where it brings me great grief that we cannot get along. I'm not received. And just have to trust and just be okay with it, you know, and just honor the other person. So when we have really challenging dynamics, which are very triggering, and yet there's no solution right now, we have to trust it's not the right time, right? Trust divine timing, also honoring our grief. But what came to me in meditation, because I was asking God for help because it was so painful, is to work with the dodecahedron. So I'm going to put the dodecahedron image up for you guys now through this process. And I just want to invite you to do a beautiful little activation here, a little meditation, visualization process. And just to share, you can use this for situations, people, world events, you know, just really please check in and make sure that it's in alignment. It's not, you know, trying to exercise control over anyone or any scenarios, but really with the intention being to amplify, to increase the love and sacredness and purity of whatever it is. So that being said, let's get into it. So just taking in the energetics of the dodecahedron here, all these incredible codes, the God particle, crystalline, the Holy Christ self, the Holy I Am presence, and how incredible to have this actual structure, it's geometric, sacred structure here, an architecture for us to work with to purify our lives. We can place the dodecahedrons everywhere in the purest love to amplify all over the planet, cities, our universe, transit systems like our car, all willing hearts. So just seeing, tuning in to the 12, the 12, 12, our own self-worth, our connection, our gratitude, because we truly are so gifted to come into this knowledge and to share it. And just breathing into the belly, out through the mouth, connecting into the body, closing the eyes. Dropping into the now, calling all of us, all of our energy, any scattered, into the now, coming back whole, complete. Just feeling your body, feeling your belly as you breathe, hearing your breath, fully feeling the fullness of your beingness in the stillness. And now think of a scenario or a person, a situation, a place. I'd also like to invite anyone who feels called to bring in certain countries in the world right now, the whole planet really, but countries all over the world, Austria, Australia, connecting with Uluru. We're going to do a lot with that later. The Aboriginals, calling in all these sacred sites, Mount Shasta, Sedona, Hawaii. And connecting as one being with our beautiful planet and as one being with our beautiful brothers and sisters in humanity here. Blood family, soul family, galactic family. Breathing, seeing it all. And now I call in the sacred white flame of purification to dance around us in a circle. And it's a beautiful white pearlescent, kind of iridescent flame with tinges of indigo blue and amethyst, violet purple. And just seeing it spiraling through us here, spiraling through our space. This is a beautiful purification you can use at any time when you're traveling, anything, about to go into a meeting. Just seeing that, feeling that shift within, just so beautiful. And now calling in Mother Mary here to be with us. Mother Isis, the Sophia Seraphim, these are the Rose Council, and calling in the Lemurian priestess lineage of the Rose. Just connecting to the beauty way within our hearts, that spiraling rose open. And now seeing a massive dodecahedron, maybe like 2 feet wide in front of you. And just seeing it, beautiful structure, and seeing it as a gorgeous container with which to place ourselves and others, situations, scenarios, the planet, locations. So placing ourselves and whatever is on your mind, whatever is causing your heart maybe to have a little grief or a lot of grief, separation feelings, whatever may be feeling like it's creating walls in your heart or constricting your heart. It could be judgment of self, shame. All kinds of themes are coming up for us, and it's all beautiful. So find your thing and place yourself and this, or the person, into this dodecahedron here, and seeing it and you and the other person or the situation just flooded with a beautiful diamond, rainbow plasma, crystalline plasma, just flowing around, weaving around through you. And you're both just in this space together, just flooding one another with this light. Just breathing and just holding one another, yourself and the subject at hand, inside this beautiful dodecahedron of light, working with the divine Trinity. Breathing in this crystalline plasma in our breath, breathing it in through the body through our breath. and just feeling the shift, knowing solution will come, just focusing on the love and dropping all other. Love and gratitude, pure love and gratitude and honoring. And if you need to stay here for a while, you're welcome to pause the recording here and just stay in this space for as long as you need. Please know that this is a technology you can use anytime to continue to support your process of coming back online, integrating and allowing the highest light to come into you, into your experience, the self and others. Beautiful. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just sending you all so much love and enthusiasm for this. The highs are incredible. The information is just beyond imagination. The potential, the gifts, what we have to receive and to create, it's just incredible. Truly, truly, I'm at a loss for words. It's very beautiful and very emotional. So I just want to wish you all the best. I'll see you soon. I've got a lot that came through. So I'm going to do my best to bang out quite a few videos and just keep them going throughout the week as we get into the solstice. I'm guided to do like some live transmissions. I've never done, YouTube live before, so it's a little intimidating. And I don't know everyone's time frame, and all that. And then of course the mind goes into the linear of like, well, I don't know, da 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 da. But anyway, I'm just letting you know that higher self is showing me, it's time to do lives, time to do some transmissions, some energy movement together. So that's coming. I can't say when yet. And I never really know one day from the next, especially as we are getting into the solstice, but we're in this beautiful window. Just remember, we are in a beautiful process of purification. This is all about critical mass. And when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, critical mass, that quantum tipping point was reached in August of 1987. That's the year I was born. I was 3 months old at that time. We're going to talk about galactic too in another video. A lot of incredible information has come through within the last few days. I got hit. They were saying, you're going to receive a lot of galactic stuff. And I was like, really? I mean, I thought this month was going to be all about Mother Mary and Yeshua and, the Immaculate Concept. And that's not separate from galactic, right? So that shows you how the mind wants to parcel out, in its best ability to try to understand, right? And that's how quantum reality comes in all of these bits and pieces, and then we see how they're all connected. So so thank you everyone so much for being here. Sending you so much love and just warm hugs, and I will see you soon. Happy Dodecahedron too. I can't wait to hear what you receive from that. Okay.